Doing PhD abroad can be a very challenging and tough process. Well, let me guide you through this video the steps that are involved in doing PhD abroad, be it Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK and US. Watch the video and get your answers. Hello friends, my name is Avinav Sharma. Welcome again to my channel. Today's video is about PhD. PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, doctorate degree. It's a dream of many people out there. They want to become doctorates, but as the name itself is, it's highly challenging. It can be very confusing. It can be very difficult at times. Well, PhD as a topic, it attracts many students, many renowned professors as well, but the steps involved, how to get to a PhD, what are the steps involved in finding the appropriate research topics for doing a PhD, all this can be very challenging, confusing and doubtful at times. So today I am going to explain PhD's process specifically for doing a PhD abroad, that is out of India, and I'm sure that after seeing this video you will be able to get your notes and how to apply successfully to PhDs outside of India, Australia, New Zealand, UK, US and Canada. Please watch this video till the end and I will be covering most of the topics. If still any topic is left, you can let me know in the comments. If you have any doubts, you can let me know in the comments and I will be happy to answer those. Now, through my experience that I have gained over the years in the field of international education, I have come across various PhD students. I have come across various PhD topics which are available. Through this experience, I have learned that if you want to build up a strong application for universities or institutions for your research applications, then it's not just a one-step approach or just a combination of things. You need to meticulously plan your things well in advance. You have to be prepared very well with your material so that you are able to put up a very strong application in front of the professors of the universities. Let's start with the basics first. Now, a PhD or a Doctor of Philosophy, when we say that, then specifically we are targeting on research areas. Now, the professors who are very highly placed at the universities, they get numerous contacts, emails, requests from students around the world who are studying in different universities, different education systems, and they are contacted by the students to do PhD at their universities. Now, these professors are literally flooded by the requests from these students. Now, professors take a lot of time to filter out the requests, and obviously the requests that match certain criteria and the requests that stand out of all the requests and application, they make it to the actual PhD admission. So first things first. Now, once you have decided that you want to take up a PhD, the next thing that you have to decide is to focus on your strengths. Well, each student out there has got his strengths and abilities, and he or she knows that in which area he or she can do better. So first thing is which I will recommend is list out 5 areas, 5 research areas in which you are very strong. Now make sure that these areas are relevant to the current times and relevant to the future times. If you want to be successful in a research application, try to have areas in which research is still going on or research is still very new. If the research is already been done to a considerable level, then you may not get selected or you may have very less opportunities. So try to find out new areas, things in which the world is looking for solutions, things there are problems in the world to which solutions can be found or solutions are yet to be found. So do a research on research, that what areas are there in which you want to do a PhD and in which there is a requirement and in which you can be successful. So There are many resources available out on the internet, and which will help you. There is IEEE website which will help you to list out the areas, and then you can sit with your mentors, sit with your elders, seniors, and find out that what can be the best 5 areas in which you would be progressing further to take on your research. Now, once these areas have been outlined, once these areas have been mentioned by you, the next step or the next goal is to make research proposals on these areas. I would recommend to make research proposals on all the 5 areas that you have listed. Usually the mistake which students make is that they make a single or two proposals and then they randomly send out to the professors, even if the area of expertise of that professor is not the proposal area. So obviously the application is going to be deleted or it's going to be rejected. There is no point in sending a research proposal to a professor in which he or she is not working. So make sure that you have a variety of research proposals at your hand, and those proposals are actually matched to the interests of the professor also. So a typical research proposal can be anywhere between 750 words, 1000 words, 1200 or 1500 words. Try to make a research proposal in such a way that you define the areas. For example, you define what is the problem, what are the objectives, what are the technologies which you will be using, what are the technologies which you already know, what are the existing solutions to the problem, and what do you want to achieve through your research, and mention bibliography and references in your research proposal. So all these areas, they make up a complete research proposal. And then you will also find research proposal templates at the websites of the university. Some universities, they do tend to put out research proposal templates, and you can take guidance from those templates as well if there are any particular requirements for submitting to a particular university. So make a research proposal which has to be very detailed one. Try to be 750 words, 1000 words, 1500 words. Try to make 5 research proposals at least on the areas that you have shortlisted. Now, once you have made your research proposal, then try to refine it. Sit with your mentors, sit with the head of departments at your own institution, and try to figure out the mistakes or errors that you could have done in your research proposal. Make sure that it is refined to the fullest and then presented to an international university. Okay, so now we are done with the research areas. Now we are done with the research proposal. Now the third step that we have to do is to find out the admission requirements. Now, the admission requirements for a PhD program out of India in countries like Australia, New Zealand, UK, US, and Canada are pretty much similar, and at the same time they can be different for some cases. Now, in a broader sense, which I would like to say is typically a university is looking at 70% and above in your highest qualification. Well, usually when we talk about PhD, students think about that the highest qualification will be a master's degree in India, but that's not the case. For example, in the United States of America, in US, you can apply for your PhD right after your bachelor's degree here in India. In Canada and USA, typically the bachelor's degrees are of 4 years. In Australia, New Zealand, and US and UK, the bachelor's degrees are of 3 years. Universities in Canada and US typically ask for a 4-year bachelor's degree, and if you have a 3-year bachelor's degree, then you can look at the options in Australia, New Zealand, and UK. Well, obviously you can apply to Canada and US, but depending upon certain requirements and acceptability by the institution in those countries. Now, if you have done a master's in India, that will be an added advantage to you, because through masters you would have gained more knowledge about your field of interest, and you would have already become mature in your area of expertise. Now, the typical percentage that I was telling about earlier is 70% to 75%. So it's a recommended percentage if you are targeting international high ranked universities. Now, supporting your application alongside your percentage is your research experience. It is very highly recommended that you do some sort of research experience in India before looking out to apply for a PhD abroad. Having a research experience in India not only adds to the value of your application, but also makes you well prepared for pursuing research and doing research in a foreign country. Going without research experience, sometimes students, they do find difficulty in adjusting to the environment in those countries. countries and adjusting to the study methods and teaching methods. So it is highly beneficial in your beneficial for you and in your interest that you do some research experience in India, be it 6 months or 1 year. Now once we have finalized our academic requirements, we move on to the English proficiency requirements. Typically IELTS is accepted worldwide across different countries. A recommended high score on IELTS 7.5 bands will help you to stand out along with your application during the application process. Some universities in US may ask for a GRE along with your application, and you can find out the required scores for GRE on the websites of the university. Though always a GRE is not mandatory, but sometimes it is recommended, and obviously it adds value to your application when you have GRE along with your application. A typical score would be 300 to 320 on GRE would be beneficial for your application. We will now be discussing a checklist of application documents, and I'll take you through the checklist of the documents one by one, that what actually we have to prepare and compile for a complete application to PhD. Well, the number one document that we need is the transcript. So the transcript of all your academic qualifications in India, starting after 12th, bachelor, masters, and if you have already done PhD in India, that too included. So do apply for your official sealed transcripts from your issuing institutions and send those transcripts in a sealed envelope directly to the university to which you are applying. Now some universities may ask for transcripts at initial stage, some may ask at a later stage. You will find and get this information from the universities directly, but transcripts are highly important in the process and are the number one document. Next, at number two, we will need letter of recommendations. Now letter of recommendations or LORs, we can get it from our mentors, we can get it from our professors. If we are working, we can get it from our employer as well. So usually 3 LORs make up the application process and the application package. And the LORs, 2 LORs can come from your academic professors. It can be dean, your professors, your head of department. 1 LOR can come from your employer also. If you have done a research project, if you have done research training, if you have done a research internship, you can take LOR from them also. The third document which we will need will be a very strong curriculum vitae or resume. Restrict your CV to 3 pages. A 3-page CV is good, but focus should be on your research attributes, your skills, your strengths, what you have done in India, what makes you stand out in your research skills, what technologies you have used, what sampling techniques you know. Try to list out in dot points or in numbered system that what different projects, research projects you have undertaken, with which organizations or companies you have worked in India. So try to make out a standout resume which gets the eyes of the professors. And because, as I told you earlier, that the professor is getting numerous applications from around the world, a simple generic resume which we usually make is not going to work. It has to be a research focused resume, strengthening, mentioning your strengths and your capabilities. The fourth part of the application, or the fourth requirement of the application, would be a very strong personal essay or a statement of purpose or a cover letter. Restrict the cover letter or statement of purpose to 2 pages, 1000 to 1500 words. Again, focus on your strengths, focus on your abilities, what has been your educational journey so far, what makes you the right candidate for PhD, why you have chosen a particular university, why you want to come for a particular research interest, and what makes you an ideal candidate for the PhD. Focus on your projects which you have taken and try to provide facts in your statement of purpose, and try to and do check it for grammatical error as well, because many students, they do not format their SOPs well, they do not do proper spacing between the paragraphs or lines, and they just randomly send it. This is not going to work. Do spell check, do plagiarism check on your statement of purpose, and prepare a right and correct and a strong SOP. At point number 5, we will need our English proficiency results. It can be IELTS, it can be TOEFL, and we have to send the official scorecard report to the applying university. You will find the methods on how to send your official scorecard report to these universities on the websites. The next document comes is extracurricular certificates. Now a lot of students out there, they miss out on extracurricular certificates, saying that they don't think or they do not know the importance of extracurricular certificates. Now you may have done some leadership roles, you may have done some voluntary roles. Now all these things, they add up to your application, they add up up to your skills. So do not forget to attach your extracurricular certificates and try to attach them in the order of latest to previous. Try to mention about these extracurricular activities or something that you have achieved in your life on your CV as well, so that when your CV is seen, also there are extracurricular activities certificates to prove what you have written in your CV. So do not miss out on extracurricular certificates and try to get as much research exposure as you can get while here in India, and try to get certifications for them. This will definitely add up to your application. Next, we can add our research abstracts. Now, and usually in honors degrees or sometimes in your last year of bachelor's degree, you submit a project or you submit a research project, then there is an abstract of that project. Now, abstract is basically a summary. So if you have done 2 or 3 projects, then do include the abstracts, do include the summary of these projects which you have done, and this will definitely help you to stand out with your application, because this will give an indication that you are not just a fresher in the field of research. You have done your own part, you have studied, and you have experienced different study areas, and you have worked on your application. So try to keep abstracts in the range of 600 to 900 words and submit as PDF or Word document with your application. Well, the next and the final step will be the application fees. Some universities, they charge a non-refundable application fees, which will be paid when you will submit your formal application to the university. Now, this application fees will vary from university to university, and usually it is non-refundable, and the amount of application fees varies from 50 Canadian dollars to $200. If it is Canada, it can be $100 to 170 or 250 US dollars for some US universities. It is completely a variable amount, and you will find it varying from university to university. Now I will guide you through a very important and crucial aspect of your PhD application: finding out the correct university, finding out the suitable country, finding out the suitable professor. Well, I would request that keep your search as broad as possible, and try to engage with as many opportunities as you see. Having a restricted approach will only lessen your chances to find a correct match to your interests. So when choosing about a country, there can be many reasons. Some students, they choose about they decide on the cost factor. Some students, they choose upon the location. Some have constraints on weather. So there can be different personal reasons. So it is completely your choice that which is your deciding factor when choosing up a country. Now coming to choosing a university, well, choose a university which has a broader sense of research areas according to your research interests, and which is offering the research in the area in which you are seeking to undertake your research. So for this, obviously you have to go through the web pages of the university. Usually this information is available specifically under the research section of the university. You can also find this information on the section of graduate studies in the section of the university website. So you will have to do a lot of web searching on the web pages of the university before you will be able to finalize that what university or which university you are going to select. I would recommend that make a list of at least 10 universities in different countries, so that you can send the application to at least all 10 of them. Having a narrow approach like applying to only 1 or 2 universities is not recommended, because as I said, it can restrict your chances of getting the admission. So once you have finalized your research areas, which are 5 in number, then comes the number of universities, which is 10. Now we have to contact the professors at these universities. Now when you will go through the web pages of the research section of the universities, you will find about undergoing research which is going at the university. You will also find out about the chairs. You will find about the professors at the university, the professors who are undertaking those research in that university, and then you will see the research areas, the research interest, and whether that professor is currently accepting students for research or not. So you will find the contact details, email IDs on the web pages themselves. So you can write down, save those email IDs, and contact the professors. When contacting a professor, you will write a detailed research email introducing about yourself and your research interest and why you are attracted to do research under that professor in that particular university. So mention all those things, include the CV that you have made as I told you earlier as part of the application. Also include your statement of purpose. Now again, there is a mistake that students usually do, that they contact professors without seeing their research interest and without correcting their statement of purpose. So you may have made a generic statement of purpose, or you may have made a specific statement of purpose on a particular research area, and you sent it to a wrong professor who doesn't even work in that area. So obviously, and that's going to put a very bad impression on the professor, and he may not look at your application. So do double check, cross check when you are contacting a professor, that you have attached all the correct documents and you are mentioning the correct information which is in line with the research professor's interests and abilities. So you will have to contact as many professors as you want, and typically you may find it a little bit strange, but you may have to contact at least 300 to even 400 professors across different universities, and then you may receive response from 15 or 20 on your request, because professors, they are busy in academic activities and they may not look at your application straight away. So you have to be patient throughout the process. You have to keep trying. A typical reply can come anywhere between 3 days, and it can even take a month to get a reply from professor. So it's all about your consistency. It's all about your persistency, that how persistent you are and how patient you are in the entire process. So once you get connected to the professor and the professor agrees to accept your research, and then you will have the next steps, which can be a Skype interview, which can be a call, which can be a test at the university, which will be taken online. And passing all those steps, you would be then invited to submit a formal application. And I have already guided you that what a typical application. Well, going through all the steps, you will be able to make a very strong application for your PhD candidature. And yes, once you are connected to the professor and you get accepted into the research, then you can be accepted into the funding, and then there are options for research assistantship, then there are options for teaching assistantship. So friends, I'm hopeful that through this detailed video you must have got a very deep insight into the world of PhD. And obviously the concept is very broad, and I have tried to put it in a concise manner through this video. If I have missed anything, and if you think that I should be adding some more information, then do let me know in the comments. I wish you all a highly successful PhD application process. May you get selected to your dream university. Please do subscribe to my channel, and please support my channel by liking it and subscribing to my channel, and please share it among your friends and contacts. Thank you so much.